12 U.S. Marines dead in the first ground battle of the war. Allied air attacks cut Iraqi communications and supply lines. And the refugee road out of Iraq turns deadly. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting tonight with a special War Update edition. Good evening. While the United States and its allies claim supremacy in the air today, Iraq struck on the ground and killed 12 U.S. Marines. They were the first Americans to die from ground action in the Gulf War. Iraqi troops and tanks unexpectedly went on the offensive, thrusting several miles into Saudi Arabia and seizing a Saudi coastal town. Saddam Hussein's forces launched the attack last night, just as President Bush was preparing to deliver his State of the Union address in Washington. Fighting went on all day today. Eric Ingberg reports.
The first genuine ground battle of the war brought Marine artillery and anti-tank forces rushing to Khafji, a Saudi city near the Kuwait border. The sneak attack by the Iraqis at Khafji was one of 5 along the border that caught American and Saudi forces by surprise. 4 were turned back. 12 Marines were killed in the early hours of the fighting, the first Americans to die in ground combat in the war. At Khafji, the outcome remained in doubt as Americans launched a counterattack to surround and retake the town.
I would tell you I don't think that battle is over by a long shot. I expect a lot more fighting will probably occur tonight. And I would tell you that, obviously we've been talking and we're ready for whatever comes in there tonight. But I don't think we were surprised.
The Iraqis snuck into Khafji, a largely abandoned Gulf Coast town. Several hundred men supported by tanks and armored vehicles encountering only light resistance from Saudi defenders. Marines positioned south of the city rushed forward to block any Iraqi advance down the main road south. In addition to artillery, vehicle-mounted tow missiles were aimed down the road to stop Iraqi tanks.
If I get to the enemy and I'm cleared to shoot, I'll arm this missile and I'll shoot it downrange, take that bad boy out.
But at a critical point, the Marines stopped firing when word was passed that the Iraqi tanks had swung their gun turrets backward in a surrender signal.
Right now there's a slowdown in our firing due to the surrender and then also the coordination with the Saudis and other allied forces so that we don't hit friendly fire.
But that was either an Iraqi trick or mix-up. The Iraqis opened fire, beginning a pitched battle that brought U.S. tanks, artillery, and planes to push the Iraqis out of the city.
I expect we're going to go up and spank them. That's what we're going to do. And they probably ought to call 911 right now. I expect we'll go expel them rather violently, rather shortly.
A-10 Warthogs, Air Force jets built for tank killing, were sent in to help, dropping bombs and firing multi-barreled Gatling guns at Iraqi troops, totally lacking in air cover. As the U.S. control of the skies continued to play a key role in the war, at least 24 tanks were destroyed. Tonight, the roads around Khafji were choked with American tanks and armored vehicles, while Cobra gunships fired at enemy positions. American commanders dismissed the Iraqi attack as a probe, but this battle, just because it is first, is a critical test of the Americans' ability to apply such tactics as rapid maneuver and close air support against tanks that they hope will eventually beat the Iraqis on the ground. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Saudi Arabia.
At last report, the Iraqis were still inside Saudi Arabia. Overall, at the start of this, the 3rd week of war with Iraq, it's a war largely fought by the U.S. and its allies from the sky with massive air power. How is the air war going? David Martin at the Pentagon has the latest.
Showing videotapes of direct hit after direct hit on Iraqi aircraft shelters, General Norman Schwarzkopf attempted to paint a picture of the step-by-step dismantling of Iraq's ability to wage war, starting at the top.
26 leadership targets were struck. 60% of all those were severely damaged or destroyed. We also attacked power plants and telecommunications facilities. 1/4 of Iraq's electrical generating facilities are completely inoperative.
That black dot is an Iraqi MiG about to be shot down by an American fighter. Without any help from radar on the ground, the Iraqi pilot could do nothing but bail out before the missile hit.
Blast! Blast! The Iraqi early warning system has completely failed, and their aircraft have been caught totally by surprise when we attacked them.
The Iraqis tried putting their aircraft in hardened shelters, but the U.S. went after them with 2,000-pound laser-guided bombs dropped by radar-evading stealth fighters. So far, the U.S. claims to have destroyed 70 shelters, which probably explains why Saddam Hussein sent the best of his Air Force to Iran.
The simple fact of the matter is that now, every time an Iraqi airplane takes off the ground, it's running away.
As for the Iraqi troops themselves, they are taking a horrific pounding from B-52s. 1,200 tons of bombs in just the last 3 days. One airstrike set off a secondary explosion, literally of volcanic proportions.
If on a scale of 1 to 10, the eruption of a volcano registered 10, the secondary explosion we had the other day, registered at 12.
More spectacular than the explosion is the effect it will have on the Iraqi troops in Kuwait.
It was the major ammunition depot that supplied all of the forces in Kuwait. That means that what they've got is what they've got. And if they use that up, they're going to be hurting. Yes, sir.
Despite the dazzling successes, Schwarzkopf warned the battle ahead could be hard and long.
By every measure, our campaign plan is very much on schedule. Now, there's no way that I'm suggesting that the Iraqi army is close to capitulation and going to give up. I think their actions last night have proven that to all of us.
Even considering last night's Allied destruction of 41 Iraqi tanks, that leaves Iraq with 4,000 tanks still ready for battle. Schwarzkopf sounds like he intends to destroy them all.
With regard to Saddam Hussein saying that he has met the best that the coalition has to offer, I would only say the best is yet to come.
But if there's more ground fighting to come, it could get much worse in terms of U.S. casualties. Last night's fighting cost the lives of 12 Marines. That's more American ground troops killed in a single night than pilots killed in 2 weeks of aerial warfare. Dan?
David Martin, thanks. Spokesman for President Bush said today that the fierce land battle with Iraqi troops inside Saudi Arabia does not signal the start of the ground war. So of what is it the start? Bob Schieffer asked that question a short while ago of CBS News consultant, retired U.S. Marine General George Crist.
General, let's see if we can fill in some of the holes here. What do you think that Saddam Hussein's forces were doing when they launched these attacks today?
Bob, this is classical positional warfare. The divisions along the front don't know where we are. So what they did last night was launch battalion-size attacks. That's about 500, 800 men with about 40 tanks each. They pushed across the border in these various locations, Khafji, the center, and at the point over here, and they were trying to do a couple things. One, to find out how far back were we, and were we there, looking for weaknesses in our lines, and also probably trying to get some prisoners, if they could, to take them back for interrogation. Now, they weren't so terribly successful, in fact. The biggest battle took place down in here, with the Marine Light Armored Infantry Battalion met 2 mechanized battalions coming in. When the smoke cleared from that, there were 20 Iraqi tanks killed and only 2 of our light armored infantry vehicles. In fact, the Marines that were there are light forces, not really supposed to take on heavy mechanized battalions. So across the line, our air caught them coming in. I think the Khafji was a bit of a surprise down here because there had been an attack early that morning up there, and then later on they came into the city of Khafji. But basically, they really didn't get anywhere.
Now, we have said from the beginning that it was our belief that Saddam Hussein would pretty much follow the same strategy he did in the war against Iran, and that was to have his forces be well dug in, wait for the attack to come, and then try to eliminate the attacking force. Does this show a change, or is this in keeping with that strategy?
No, it doesn't, Bob. It's a part of the defense. If you're going to defend a line, you have to know where the enemy is. And so consequently, what they're trying to do is find out where we are so they can prepare their defenses against us.
One of the things we have wondered about throughout all of this is how the Iraqi soldier would react. Would his morale break? What can you read from what we have seen of this?
Well, clearly, Bob, these guys came out fighting. They came in with their tanks. They were aggressive. They used their artillery. They were beaten, of course. But that shows to me that these soldiers in here, and these are the infantry in the front we're talking about, have good morale, and they're fighting.
And what kind of an analysis can you make? What should we expect now after what we saw last night?
Bob, I think we're going to see more of this, perhaps now out along the western area, as again these troops along the line try to find out what's opposite them.
But I guess the bottom line is you do not believe that they have now decided to launch an attack against U.S. forces the ground war, as we would know it, has not yet begun.
No. The Iraqis are doing exactly what well-trained defensive troops ought to do, probe our lines.
Will we do anything different now?
I think we have been running our own reconnaissance up. We have our own patrols, we have special forces, and we have our aircraft. We don't have to push big columns in the way they did to find out the information.
Thank you, John.
Lots more still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, including a bombardier's view of the attacks on Iraqi supply lines and Scud missile launchers. So stay here with us.
Once a year, the automotive world holds its breath awaiting the announcement of its most prestigious award. From all the new models to choose from, only one car dominated the competition in rigorous tests to earn the 1991 Motor Trend Car of the Year award. The Chevrolet Caprice Classic. It's simply breathtaking.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
Because of high cholesterol, 1 out of 4 adults is gambling with heart disease. You can leave it to chance or do something about it with a diet including Fleischmann's margarine. 0 cholesterol, low saturated fat. Fleischmann's, because your heart is in your hands.
Nobody kisses in the morning. Nobody I know.
Morning breath.
We kiss, but not on the lips. Not in the morning.
The worst breath of the day.
We haven't kissed in the morning in 15 years.
16.
So get the mouthwash with 2 antiseptic ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath. Scope.
I love kissing in the morning.
Oh, that's the best part.
This Valentine's Day, bring back the morning kiss with antiseptic Scope and have a happier Valentine's Day.
How fast does Dristan nasal spray start working to clear up congestion?
Already? That's fast. It's starting to work already.
Tristan nasal spray starts to work in seconds.
TAPS for 12 U.S. Marines killed in battle, the first Americans to die from ground action inside Saudi Arabia. Scott Pelley has a report on who they were and how they died.
It was not a surprise to the Marines that the first troops killed on the ground belonged to the light armored infantry. For the Marine Corps, these men are the first to find the enemy.
We find them. We determine what their intentions are. We get that information back.
They are the scouts that call in reinforcements and target airstrikes. Their light armored vehicle, or LAV, is not intended to stand and fight, the kind of heavy armor that surprised them this morning.
The Marines lost 2 light armored vehicles. Unfortunately, I'm very sad that I have to report to you that they lost 12 KIA in that engagement and 2 WIA.
The LAV is a new concept for the Marines, never tried in battle. It trades heavy armor for speed. Maneuver and survive, its crewmen will tell you.
The speed is what we use. The mobility is our survival factor. And we can move fast, 60, 70 miles an hour, so we can get out of there if we have to.
Tonight, first reports indicate the LAVs did not get out. They stood and fought. The crews apparently called in airstrikes and battled the more powerful Iraqi tanks with missiles. U.S. officials report at least 10 enemy tanks were destroyed in one engagement. Most of the LAV crews are young Marines, some even teenagers. During their 5 months in the desert, they have talked openly about the dangers of their mission and fully expected that one day some would not be quick enough. On the border of occupied Kuwait tonight, they remain the Corps' eyes and ears. The next time the Marines encounter the enemy, the LAVs are most likely to be again first on the front. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Saudi Arabia.
We've been reporting on the military dead. There are, of course, civilian dead as well. Jordan said today that 4 of its citizens were killed inside Iraq when U.S. bombers attacked trucks on a road leading to the Jordanian border. Thousands of refugees are flooding that highway in a desperate effort to try to get out of Iraq. Correspondent Richard Threlkeld is covering the story from the Jordanian side of the border.
This is what it's like now to try to get away from the war in Iraq. A convoy of trucks in western Iraq on the road to Jordan, caught in a bombing raid. 4 killed, 10 wounded. Jordan's King Hussein visited the victims tonight in the hospital. And Jordan's foreign minister says he's protesting to the U.S. and the United Nations that Allied planes are killing Jordanian civilians in Iraq. The last 100 miles of the highway to Jordan is now a deadly gauntlet, a prime Allied bombing target, because the Allies say it is a staging area for Iraqi Scud missiles. So the refugees who made it to Jordan today, Egyptians mostly, are survivors. And the man who takes care of them, Dr. Thaher al-Hadid of the Red Crescent, the Middle East Red Cross, is a brave man indeed. Crazy, some say. Every day he runs that gauntlet of bombs into Iraq to care for those refugees who are still stuck across the border.
I saw 6 trucks burning the road. It's no way you can drive in it.
He goes because he must. For every hungry, frightened child who's just made it to Jordan, he knows there are hundreds who have not. He told us today there are now nearly 30,000 refugees in Iraqi camps just east across the desert. Babies, children, old people, dying of hunger, dying of the cold.
It's very bad. No food, no water, no medicine.
So Dr. al-Hadid and his team must go back.
I have to go there.
To take what they can, give what they can, to help them. He says he's already seen too much of this war. The truck full of refugees who were just a mile from Jordan and safety when the bomb fell among them.
17 was injured. 15 died before those get to us.
Late today, the first of the survivors left the camp for Aqaba and Cairo and home. The last we saw of Dr. al-Hadid, he was headed the other way, east, back to Iraq. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, Amman.
General Schwarzkopf said today his commanders are doing everything they can to find 4 missing CBS newsmen, correspondent Bob Simon, producer Peter Bluff, and camera crewmen Roberto Alvarez and Juan Caldera. They disappeared last week near the Kuwaiti border. Iraq has not confirmed reports that they were possibly taken into custody by Iraqi troops. Stay with us now for more news, including a consideration of wartime duty and dissent.
I thought my husband Dan was perfectly healthy, but the doctor said his cholesterol level was 218. So we changed to a healthier diet, including no cholesterol Mazola, America's leading corn oil.
In a clinical study, a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet, including Mazola, reduced cholesterol an average of 17%.
Did Dan's cholesterol come down?
You bet. 100% pure Mazola corn oil. Together, we're beating cholesterol.
In time, all definitions must be revised. But when it came to redefining luxury, it wasn't a Webster, it was Oldsmobile, the all-new 98. Now you can have anti-lock brakes, fuel-efficient power, computerized suspension, technology found in cars costing thousands more, which by my definition could be the greatest luxury of all. And you can always take a Webster at his word.
This is the new 98, luxury redefined.
Generation of Olds.
Everybody needs some money sometime.
To send money fast, call 1-800-CALL-CASH or come to any Western Union location.
Something in my heart just told me
Western Union, fastest way to send money.
We bake pearls made of denture material in this blueberry pie to prove how powerfully Efferdent, America's leading denture cleanser, removes this tough stain, even in between. Efferdent, stronger than stains.
When Saddam's missiles come screaming in,
We're in the front line here.
this doctor from Brooklyn runs out to meet them. Americans at war, 48 hours tonight.
The day after President Bush's State of the Union speech, the president was back on Capitol Hill today, this time for the 50th anniversary of an historic speech by another wartime president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. White House correspondent Wyatt Andrews reports on President Bush's wartime message, then and now.
It's a message that's crept slowly into the president's speeches in the 2 weeks since the bombing began. that fighting this war is America's moral obligation. Mr. Bush repeated that today at a ceremony marking the 50th anniversary of President Franklin Roosevelt's famous For Freedom speech.
We stand now, I really believe, at a defining moment in history. Much as the man we honor today did a half a century ago. No one knew better than President Roosevelt what hard work freedom really is.
Last night's State of the Union address held rhetoric even more direct, that no nation but the United States can do the job.
Among the nations of the world, only the United States of America has both the moral standing and the means to back it up. This is the burden of leadership and the strength that has made America the beacon of freedom in a searching world.
Aides say the president's sense of moral mission has long been there, but didn't crystallize as a public rationale for war until the president confronted the actual decision to send men and women into battle. Still, what Mr. Bush describes as America's burden of leadership sounds to others like America as the world's policeman, a notion that still makes millions of Americans uncomfortable. At the Roosevelt ceremony today, FDR's own granddaughter urged the president to tolerate those who don't share the sense of duty underpinning his call to war.
It is that concern which supports the protest and honest objection to this war, not anti-patriotism or lack of respect for the bravery of our troops. And this nation is a good enough society to listen and consider.
The president emphasized last night that he does respect the right of dissent, in part because Mr. Bush is driving this war out of his personal sense of America's duty. He recognizes, as a matter of conscience, not everyone agrees with the mission. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, the White House.
In other war developments, U.S. Marines have launched their first amphibious assault of the war. Marines from the USS Okinawa captured the small island of al-Muradim off the Kuwaiti coast. Canada has engaged in its first combat since Korea. A Canadian CF-18 fighter reportedly dodged an Exocet missile to attack an Iraqi patrol boat off the Kuwaiti coast. U.S. Special Forces commandos have infiltrated Iraq, searching for mobile Scuds. And under the heading of war is always chaos and confusion, there was at least partial confirmation today of a London newspaper report that U.S. bombers on Tuesday, January 22nd, attacked 2 tankers at a Kuwaiti oil terminal. The raid was uncoordinated with the British, who had a submarine hiding underneath one of the tankers. The sub was carrying about 22 Special Air Service, Special Boat Service commandos for a night reconnaissance survey of the Kuwaiti shore. That would be necessary before any eventual amphibious raid. The report indicated the British commandos were not amused by the lack of coordination and resulting damage to their submarine.
So I'm standing in the checkout line, and this really attractive woman sees I have Kellogg's Bran Flakes. And she says,
Buying that for your father?
come on, they taste terrific. That's why I eat Kellogg's Bran Flakes. It's a nutty, toasted wheat taste, and they're Kellogg's. So I turned to this woman. I looked her straight in the eye, and I said, yeah, they're for Dad. K-E-double-L-O double good. Kellogg's Bran Flakes. Toasted taste to you.
Take a look around me at a place like none on land. Sail away now, you'll find me. The world's at my command.
Of all the resorts in the world, one takes you to the great places of the world. Royal Caribbean, the grand resorts of the 7 seas. Isn't it time you discovered them?
When minor arthritis pain holds you back, you need strong medicine. Bengay with not just 1 but 2 pain relievers. Warming power for fast relief. Bengay helps get you going again. Bengay, fast, strong medicine for pain relief.
I've really got to get some Z's.
Introducing single-dose maximum strength Nitol. Just one will help you fall fast asleep fast. New maximum strength Nitol. Just one Nitol will help you get a lot of Z's.
The 12 Marines who died today in Saudi Arabia were not part of the remote control war, not part of the Nintendo game-looking video you see on television. They died in the mud and sand. An officer called the fighting, which is continuing, quote, hellacious, which of course is in the Marine Corps tradition. And around Camp Pendleton, California, families agonize through the terrible tradition of those who watch and wait. David Dow reports.
Not far from Camp Pendleton, the tension level rose today in Julie Kuhn's living room. Kuhn's, her daughter, her daughter's friend, Marine women all watched the news of the war's first ground casualties.
Right now, I don't know what to think. He's in the front lines right now. I don't know where he's at. All I could do is be supportive. All I could think is hope for the best and pray it wasn't him. That's all I could do.
Though Beth Pereira's husband appeared to have safely missed today's ground action, the war had clearly escalated.
In order to get ahead, we have to lose some people. But we got to keep our support up. You know, we have to have faith that our husbands are going to come home.
Camp Pendleton and the community around it have long been steeled for ground combat involving local Marines.
I expected it to go quicker. I expected them to go in and annihilate this guy.
Still, the reality of casualties, some perhaps neighbors or loved ones, in effect started the clock running all over again on Operation Desert Storm.
I can't deal with losing my husband. And so that's why I put a lot of faith and trust in God that, you know, he'll bring him back home safely to me.
Along Oceanside's Main Street, Marines on liberty, some facing possible Persian Gulf duty themselves, took today's news philosophically.
It's a responsibility, and we're called upon to do a job, and we have to do it.
And Julie Kuhn's did her best to be philosophical, too.
War is very ugly, but we also have to say, hey, this is what we think is supposed to be done, and this is what we think is right, so we have to do it.
Late today, war was still a waiting game at Julie Kuhn's house and thousands of others. David Dow, CBS News, Oceanside, California.
So you claim you were getting your oil changed at your GM dealership. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how long did this take?
An hour, hour and a half.
Really? And isn't it true that the GM dealership in question is a Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus dealer? And isn't it also true that they guarantee a complete GM oil change, lube, and 10-point maintenance check in 29 minutes, or the next one is free?
Your GM dealer is serious about putting service back in the service department, so try Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus for a change.
You know, that sign wasn't up there for more than a couple, 3 days. And bingo.
I've never seen a house move so fast. I've never seen a real estate outfit move so fast.
We're prepared to get the results you're looking for. The Prudential, you know us, we know real estate.
Introducing a new idea in air freshening, Glade Country Pottery.
Put out the pottery, put it here, put it there.
Simple, handmade pieces of glazed pottery.
Put it everywhere, put out the pottery. Put the fresh country air anywhere.
The porous clay releases the light, fresh scent for 30 days.
Just put out the pottery, put the fresh country air everywhere.
Put out the pottery, new Glade Country Pottery.
If you're looking for a great vacation, start at the top. Take a 3, 4, or 7-day fun ship vacation on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world.
This is CBS.
Good evening, I'm Vicki Yates.
And I'm Chris Clark. Coming up next on News Channel 5, 6 o'clock report, area businesses prepare for the worst with America facing the threat of terrorism.